Hi everybody, welcome to English with Team, and today we're joined with Terry, who recently secured 8.5 band score from IELTS. Hi Terry.
Hello, how are you?
Great, and you?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Today you're going to tell us about everything and anything about your experience. Are you ready to share with your experience?
Well, I was born ready.
Okay, great. Okay, Terry, before we go to the test itself, can you tell us about the preparation process? How did it go for you?
Well, it takes a lot of practice to reach that score, the highest one in especially listening or reading. So I did a lot of practice with my students. So it was mainly a part of my teaching experience.
Great. And what kind of advice can you give to students who do not teach like you?
Well, they have to put a lot of effort into this. They need to be involved in English as much as possible.
Yeah.
They need to watch a lot of movies, listen to podcasts, so talk to people.
You mean they have to consume natural English?
Yes, they have to be exposed to English.
All right.
All day long.
Great. So Terry, let's talk about the exam part itself. A lot of people get nervous, and did you?
Of course I did. It always happens. I can't help it. Like, I'm a human, so we get nervous.
So Terry, who is always serious and who is always confident, even she got nervous.
Yeah.
So a lot of our students feel anxious before and during the exam. How do you think they can overcome these feelings?
Yeah. First of all, they should find a reason why this is happening.
Okay.
I believe it's because they have never tried that exam atmosphere experience.
Okay.
So they should try mock tests a lot, several times.
Guys,
before.
don't forget that we make mock tests every month. You can feel the real atmosphere of the test.
Yes, that helps a lot. They should take it several times before their main test, so they get used to it.
Okay.
It becomes a part of them, and they will not get that nervous as they would if they just randomly took the test before and without preparation.
Right. Okay, so you secured band 9 both from reading and listening.
Yeah.
So how did you achieve this?
It's all out of practice. I practiced a lot, and it's mainly because of time management.
Oh, okay.
Because it's not about not understanding the questions. It's mainly about not being able to manage your time well. So, in both tasks, listening and reading. So they are divided into sections and passages.
Mm-hmm.
So for all, you need to know how much time you need to spend.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So you want me to tell you how to do it in both?
Sure. I'm sure our audience would love it because actually they are waiting tips from you.
Okay, so what I do is in listening, section 1 is the easiest because it's just a conversation between people and registration, something similar.
Casual conversation, right?
And you don't really have to spend all the time you're given on reading the questions. So at the beginning of the test, you're given one example and they repeat that twice for you so that you get used, you can just start the test. So when you're given this 10 seconds of time to read the questions, spend it on the next sections. So, and at the end of the section, when you're given 30 seconds to check your answers for the section 1, again, read section 2 and section 3 questions because they are more critical and you will be given multiple choice questions and you need to be aware of them before you actually listen to them because the conversation and the recordings are not that difficult. Students do not fail in understanding, they mainly fail in not being able to read the questions carefully and remembering them because when you're listening, you have to focus on the task and the recording at the same time, so it can be quite challenging for them if they don't read the questions beforehand. And so I would recommend them to spend as much time as possible on section 3 and section 2. For section 4, the time that is given for section 4 is just enough because people think it is the most difficult section, but it is not. Section 3 is much more difficult than Section 4. Actually, so they just need to spend the time they're given, like 30 seconds to read the questions, just follow. Like they shouldn't get lost in the flow of the recording. When it comes to reading, so we are given 3 passages. So the first passage is always the easiest. So you can just do it in 12 minutes if you know how you're going, because questions always are in order, so you can easily find like where they are and just follow. Once you find the first one, then you read the next one. Don't spend your time reading the whole text before you start reading the questions. First read the title, then go to questions, and if the questions start with true, false, or given, for example, read the first one. Don't spend your time reading all the questions, because it's easy to find the first answer in the passage. So, and with gap filling, the same goes, because they follow it, the order.
Yeah.
So, so like try to finish it in maximum 15 minutes and save your 45 minutes for the rest of the text. And one more thing that you should not forget is you should always copy your answers to the answer sheet while you're doing the test. Do not leave this to the end of the test, because you never know. Passage 3 might just appear so difficult that you will just forget about that, and once you just look at the time, it's over, and you can say invigilator is just taking your paper away. So be careful with that. You find the answer, do not write your answers on the question paper, just tick that question so you're sure that you have done it. Copy it on the answer sheet.
Because at the end of the day, you don't want to be left with all the answers and not transferred to the answer sheet, right? Yeah, makes sense. That makes total sense, right?
Yes. And for passage 2, like I would recommend them to spend between 18 to 20 minutes, and the last passage between 20 to 25 minutes. And save your 5 minutes at the end to look through all the questions and the difficult ones that you couldn't find or were hesitant about. So let's say you have a difficult question. Do not spend 5 minutes or more on that question. Just circle that question, mark it or highlight it in a way so that you will come back after the test.
Just skip it, right?
Yeah, you just skip that one and focus on the easiest question, because all the questions weigh the same mark.
Yeah, they give you 1 point.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Don't waste that time.
All right, great. So pro tips from a pro. Okay, so people actually bombarded our direct about writing, like how did Terry achieve 7.5 in writing? How was that possible? How did you do it?
Well, it would be impractical if I just said I was lucky, because
luck doesn't work this way,
yeah,
right?
it doesn't. You have to practice to get the luck.
Right.
So I was prepared for like different tasks for task 1, and before the exam I made sure that I knew how to answer the questions for any types of diagrams. So I was given maps for task 1. So like it was like past and present type of maps, like map of the same place. So it was pretty simple for me to write that, mainly because I practice a lot on that. It just seems like
on the maps or on task 1 writings?
On maps.
Oh, okay.
Specifically, because that seems to me an interesting task compared to many other types of diagrams. So one tip for you is to accomplish this task successfully, you need to understand the diagram itself before you actually start that. Do not rush. Take your time, analyze what's given for you, and try to pick the right information for each paragraph. Like, do not try to, just impress the examiners with fancy vocabulary, especially in writing your introduction. Just keep it simple and professional. And for overview as well, try to pick the whole picture. Don't use the details for that. And your body paragraph shows a lot of your grammar and vocabulary skills. So try to use a diverse range of vocabulary and grammar in that part, because this is your chance to show them that you know these things. So do not stick to or be limited to the same structures. Try to be different. And for task 2, you know, as it is more important than
Yeah.
task 2, you have to spend more time on that than task 1. So try to start with task 2, even though they say that you need to start with task 1, because that was my mistake in that last exam. Just because I was too excited to see maps, like,
Okay.
because it seems so easy, I started with that and didn't realize I spent 30 minutes on that,
Oh my
which
god.
was a mistake,
All right.
because I was left with 28 minutes when I just started task 2. But
okay.
fortunately, the question was easy. And if you want to know the question, it was about shopping and its relation to technology. So some people think that technology has made shopping easier, while others disagree with that. So it was discuss both views and give your opinion. So that part. For task 2, it's always important to understand the question and answer that question. If they ask you to give your opinion, you have to give your opinion. If they don't ask, do not bother to mention your opinion.
Because you will lose your score in task response
yeah,
part,
exactly, yes. And always try to meet the requirements. So write more than 150 for task 1 and more than 250 for task 2. And manage your paragraphs well for task 2. So your introduction and conclusions should make sense. You know, just don't write whatever comes to your mind.
Yeah, because you have to keep the coherence and
Yes.
cohesion clear.
And when it's discuss both views, you have to show, like, you have to have good arguments to support your ideas for both like views. And your conclusion, when you have talked about the given topic in your paragraphs, do not add a new piece of information in conclusion.
Yeah.
Like, just sum up the ideas that you have mentioned. Writing the conclusion should be the easiest and time-saving part of your test in writing, because you already know what you have written about. You can just like sum up that part. Because I was left with 3 minutes to write my conclusion.
Oh my god.
I already knew what I wrote about, so I just quickly summed it up. So
You didn't have time to check your essay?
No.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was a problem, because I was my time was limited, but I was happy that I finished it, because finishing it
Is the main part.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because for incomplete tasks, you're gonna lose marks. You will get penalty for that. So make sure you finish both tasks and meet the requirement.
Great. There were a lot of useful advice here, and I'm sure our audience is going to love it. But about speaking, I think I know I'm going to predict what you're going to say, because I know I have known Terry for more than a year now, and all the time we communicate outside the work or anywhere else, she always speaks English, and I think that's why you didn't have to practice speaking, and that's why you got 8 from speaking.
Yeah. I was so confident about speaking, and you know, everybody I knew would say, "Oh, your speaking is the best aspect that you have. That's going to be the best." And you know, the same part that we started this interview with. So being nervous, that's where I failed.
Okay.
I don't know why, but the moment we started that interview, I was not feeling me, you know, it wasn't me. I was trying to be pretentious, and you know, I was trying to impress the examiner. I was not being natural. You have to be natural. Just be yourself in the speaking exam. Do not try to show off. So I was just forcing the vocabulary and everything.
Oh, okay.
And yes.
But still, I mean, it's not easy for everybody to secure 8 points from speaking.
Yeah.
Part of the IELTS. So I think you did a great job. At the end of the day, you did a great job. So overall, what advice can you give to your students, to our students, to the students of the center who are preparing, who are striving, who are going to take their exams in 1 or 2 or a month's time?
Yeah. Well, it's not about studying hard, it's about studying smartly. So don't waste your time, use your time wisely. You know, like, practice a lot. As I mentioned before, be involved in this atmosphere. Study with us.
Yeah, that's the I think that's number 1 tip, right? Tip number 1, study with us, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And do not perceive it as something that's going to determine your whole life or your English, because it's just a test.
Just a
and
test.
You might perform differently in different situations. So like, you can just look at me like I would have done maybe differently if I retook it again, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a test. It doesn't test your knowledge, it tests your skills. So focus on your skills, like concentration, mainly time management. So, and of course, practice your confidence. Try to work on that.
Yeah, because like when you practice speaking a lot with a partner, I think it becomes like a habit for you. Like, and when you are on a real exam, on a real speaking, you just feel like as usual.
Yeah. It
Right.
just like, you feel like that person is your friend, one of your friends. And
Yeah,
just talking to them
yeah.
casually.
Okay guys, that's it. Don't forget to hit the like button. In the comment sections, you can leave any questions that you are unsure about or that you would like to ask Terry. Share this video with your friends, and mainly don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Okay? Stay tuned, because the best is yet to come.